Hello everyone, welcome to the last episode of the series. In this episode, we will be working on and finishing our prestige function. So let's go to the HTML file and create another button inside here, the util buttons. You can say button and we'll have a class of util button like this, and we'll say on click and it'll run a function called prestige, which we haven't created yet. And it'll say prestige inside here. And this button, I want to be able to hide at the start because we don't want the player to be able to prestige at the start of the game, only when they reach a certain gems threshold. So we can give it another class called prestige button. And in styles, we can say dot prestige button is display none, so it's hidden. Okay, so it's not showing, but when we comment this one out, okay, and it shows. Sweet. Let's also add another currency, and which will be relic. So the player will be awarded a certain number of relics based on how many gems they have when they prestige. So just above the section here, we can create a new div, and this div will have a class of relic. Inside here, we can say relic is a span tag, and inside we can say 0. This will have an ID of relic as well. Okay, so we want to position this one on the top middle. So to do that, let's say dot relic is position of absolute, so we can position it wherever we want to. Top of 20 pixels. Center it in the x-axis, so remember left 50%, and change the center point. Transform, translate x, negative 50%. This is how we center something. Save this. Sweet. Let's make it a bit bigger. Say font size is 20 pixels, and font weight is semi-bold, which is 600. Okay, looks a bit better. Next, let's work on the function. So in our JS file, below the load function, let's add a new function called prestige. So function prestige, and we can add it to our window. Window.prestige equals prestige. Okay, so what we want to do here is when the player clicks on the prestige button, this function will run, and we need to set all of the values back to the default. So since we already have the values over here, our default values, we can just use these values inside here in order to set our current values back to the default. So let's import that first. Import default upgrade values like that, and in our prestige, let's console log 1 first to see if it is running, and in our set interval, so we can say if the parse gem is greater or equals to 1 million. This is the same thing as without the underscore, but it just makes it easier to read visually. And we can say prestige button dot style dot display is equals to block. Otherwise, else prestige button dot style dot display is equals to none. And since we're already setting the display to none here, we can take it out of the styles.css. That should work still. And let's grab the prestige button. That prestige button equals document.query selector, and it will be dot prestige button. Okay, so it is not showing now, which is good because our gems is not above 1 million. But let's change it to a higher number, say 1.5 million, and now save, and it shows up. Sweet. Okay, so let's use the default upgrade values to now reset our upgrades back to what they were at the start. Okay, so let's test if the function is actually running. Let's go to our console and press prestige. Okay, it is console logging 1, which means it's working. Awesome. Now let's work on the actual function. So the prestige function will look very similar to the load function, but with a few minor changes. So we'll do upgrades.map to loop over all of the upgrades. So run a callback function. So first we want to find the upgrade that matches our name over here. So the upgrade inside our default values. So we can say const mu for match upgrades equals upgrades, not upgrades, it will be default upgrade values dot find, and it will take one object, which is, we can say u, and it will run a function, and inside here we can do an if check to see if the upgrade.name is equals to u.name, then we can return the object. So this is very similar to how we did it over here in our by upgrades. It's very similar. So now that we have the upgrade, it becomes very simple. So we can just say upgrade.parsed. Actually, you know what? We can just copy this over here and paste it down. And instead of saved values, we can change it to mu. And it wouldn't be mu.parseCost, it would just be cost and increase. Because we can see inside of our object over here, we only have cost increase, not the parsed ones. So let's take out parsed. So take this, replace with a lower c and a lower I over here. Same with this, mu.level. Yeah, not mu.level, we can simply just say 0. And this one will be mu.cost as well. And this one will be mu.increase. Let's just try that. So we save and go back. Let's buy some upgrades. And if we press prestige, we can see everything set back to default. Nice. But the message inside here is still not updated properly. And if we actually go to, say, level 10, where the border color changes, and if we prestige, the color still remains. So we need to update that as well. So to do that, let's go up and copy and paste these values and paste it into here. Or not here, it'll be here. Paste it over here. And let's also copy paste the style changes. So background color white, background color, yeah, so it will be this one. Let's copy this and put it beneath here. And we also need to change the paragraph text as well. Okay, so we'll take this one and paste it down here as well. And now if we save this, we go to level 10, and if we prestige, okay, everything is good, but we have an undefined over here. Oh, okay, so not parse increase, it will just be increase. So now let's try again. Let's go to level 20, and if we prestige, nice, everything is back to default. And one last thing will be the GPC and the GPS. So let's also change that back to default. So let's say GPC equals 1, GPS equals 0, and parse gem equals 0, and gem.innerHTML equals parse gem. Okay, so we save that, buy some upgrades, and now we prestige. Oh, sweet, everything's back to default. Okay, and one last thing, we need to actually increase our relic, because then otherwise there will be no point prestiging. So to do that, let's grab the value first. We go up, we can say let relic equals document.getElementById by ID and relic. Let's go down and we can say relic.innerHTML equals, so this is just some formula I came up with. I think it works quite well. So it is math.ceil and math.square-root, and inside here we'll say parsegem minus 900,000, so 99999, which is one lower than 1 million, and this will be divided by 300. So we save that. So we can see at 1.5 million we get about 3 relics, and if we increase that to 100 times, 150 million, we get about 41. So I think it's quite good. Sweet. So now with that working, you can feel free to add whatever use you want to give to the relic. For example, you can add some artifact where you can purchase using the relics, or you can add a stat system. For example, you can use relics to upgrade certain statistics like the GPC, GPS, or the amount of gems you get. But that's all up to you guys. So that will be all for this series. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And so I will be doing another clicker series that would be a little bit more advanced, and we will be using a framework for that, which is Next.js. And I can promise there will be a lot more functionalities in this series that I will be releasing after this one. For example, it will have all of the functions we have here and a ton of others. For example, there will be a leaderboard function where you can log in, and once you're logged in, your stats will be updated onto a community leaderboard. So basically you can see other people's progress, and as other people can also see your progress. So I think that will be pretty cool. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I'll see you guys in my future videos. Bye bye.